Yes, I think we are live now. Welcome all of you to LinkedIn to Charcha episode 16. And we have a very special guest with us in the form of Mr. Sahil Motwani. Now, until many more people join, I'll just introduce him to all of you guys. I'm sure you must have seen his videos on your feed. So, Sahil is the founder of Digital Creation. He is an amazing content creator who is at this stage providing so much value for free. I personally admire his videos, and I'm sure all of you do. So let's learn from his perspectives and his insights. So welcome to the show, Sahil.
Thanks, Rahul. Thanks for inviting me on LinkedIn पे चर्चा. It was really
Absolutely.
awesome for me to be here.
Absolute. It's an absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
So, starting with the first question that I have is basically, how did this journey start? Take us to the first day of LinkedIn. What were your thoughts, and how has it changed along?
Okay, so if I say about the first thoughts on starting creating on LinkedIn was like I was camera shy. I was very shy to the camera, so I was not able to create content by looking to the camera. So I thought like, okay, I have to spread the value. I had to spread the experiments that I am doing on my day-to-day
Right.
basis at some platform. So I found LinkedIn is very handy when it comes to the text post, other than the blogs that we
Mhm.
are writing on our website, the company's website. So I thought like, okay, start with the LinkedIn in the form of text. Then
Right.
we started using the text form. Soon that text converted into the polls. Then polls converted into the carousels. Like I had tried carousel, but I feel that those carousels hadn't worked for me. Like every person have a different audience, so every audience
Mhm.
resonate with some kind of the content. So my audience was not resonating with the carousels at that time. They were resonating with this written based text based formats. So I
Mhm.
started continuing the text based format. Soon I became the part of this graph we select back in the month of September 2021. And from them, I was able to learn how to create content using the cameras, the pre-production, post-production, scripting. And then I soon started experimenting with the video on both the platforms, like on LinkedIn also and on Instagram. So I was just flipping my content and reproducing both the contents on here and there. This is
Right.
this is how this content journey has started and how this is evolving day by day.
Amazing. That's an amazing journey. And you mentioned this very important point of being camera shy, which I think is the pain point of a lot of users who are watching and will be watching this session. Because when you talk about video creation, there's this sudden uneasiness that comes कि नहीं यार मतलब नहीं हो पाएगा. So how did you overcome this? Can you take us through that journey? How difficult was it the first few videos for you?
Okay, the first few videos were quite difficult because
Yeah.
the earlier, even if you know something, like even if I know about any topic, I still
Right.
when it comes to in front of the camera, you
Yeah.
forgot everything. Like आप भूल जाते हो कि आप क्या बोलने
Right.
वाले थे और क्या करने वाले थे. Right.
Right.
So this is the thing that was happening with me also. Like I know that what I have to tell, and I have scripted out all the things, but when I come to the camera, I forgot all the things. Like I had to take multiple takes to get in the proper form of the video. Like if I have to record something, so it
Right.
was quite hard when I recorded my first, I guess 30-40 videos. If even if you check out on the Instagram also, you will be seeing the quality difference from those videos and what we are recording right now. Right, so you
Right.
can figure out. And the best thing which I would say, even if you are camera shy, start recording, because only then you will be able to know how better you can perform, because then you start getting feedbacks, then you start getting trolls from the people. Like on the
Right.
feedbacks you have to work, on the trolls you have to figure out why they are trolling actually.
Mm.
Right,
Mm.
so this is the actual journey, like how a camera shy can turn their passion into recording videos.
Absolutely. These are some great pointers. And one thing I'd like to take away from this is basically you talked about feedback, which
Yeah.
is very important, has helped me personally as well, because I personally used to ask people कि बताओ यार कैसा लग रहा है video, what are the
Mhm.
changes that it could be
Mhm.
done. So I think feedbacks are a very, very important point. And asking people also on LinkedIn, I've seen people answer in paragraphs of feedback. So this is
Definitely.
so supportive. Uh,
And sometimes even if you don't ask them about the feedback, they will still being
uh,
so kind and say like, okay, you are doing this thing wrong. If you remove this kind of thing, that the video would be get much better. If you add this much amount of thing, the video would be get that better. So I had seen that also in the videos that I was recording. Like people, when we started recording this free class series, right,
hmm,
so we started getting the feedback. Like if you in the earlier videos, like if you check out about 5 to 6 videos of mine in which
right.
the camera was mirroring, so the text
Yeah.
in the frames was completely parallel. right? You are not able
Mm-hmm.
to see the text, you are not able to read the text. Then someone has
Right.
told me and said that like your camera is mirroring, because I was not giving that kind of the thought on like, okay, camera is mirroring, there is no such big a fault. But then that
Mm-hmm.
person has told me and told that like your camera is mirroring and it's kind of distracting the audience because your text is completely not correct. So I thought like,
Right.
okay, if they had given the feedback, now it's time to non-mirror the camera. So I changed that.
Mm-hmm.
Then post that people have told me that the pop sound that is coming in the videos, like you can see
Mm-hmm.
the on the important notes there was a pop sound. So people told either reduce the voice of that pop sound or remove that part completely. So we removed that part
Mm-hmm.
completely because that's the feedback that we got. So this is how
Right.
getting feedback and implementing on those feedbacks is much more important. Like you got the feedback, but what's next if you are not implementing? So
Correct.
implementing is also that good.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's an amazing pointer. Now coming to your series, Freaky Class for Freelance. Would you recommend people to start such series? It can be on text, carousel videos, and how has it changed your whole perspective towards personal branding?
Yes, I would say if you are able to continue something, if you are able to continue to deliver the value at that level or at some
Hmm.
instinct level, like okay, if you, suppose you have learned something and you want to spread that value, definitely start
Hmm.
for that series. Don't think like whether what's the quality, whether people would gonna like or not. Start
Right.
going with the part in whatever field you are comfortable with. Like if you are comfortable in the text format, start with the text. Comfortable with carousels, start with the carousels. Video, then videos. Even if you are going with, even if you can go with the live too, right? So this is
Right.
the thing.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
So, and I think personally that builds a lot of thought leadership as well. Like people start recognizing you with that series.
Mhm.
My follow-up question is basically to be consistent with that series is the biggest task, right? So, did you plan this entire series before, or is it like on the go? Every day you are coming up with ideas and shooting.
Like if I share the script of this kind of the series, I have the script.
Yeah.
Like this
Uh,
is the whole kind of the whole note for the whole series of till now what we had done 43 days. Right. So if
wow.
I say about we had done a little bit of scripting, like
Yeah.
I personally know what ups and downs a freelancer is getting in their journey, or a solopreneur or an entrepreneur is getting in their journey. So I was
Right.
quite familiar with that point. So I thought like, okay, let's drive them with the journey what a normal freelancer would feel when they are starting.
Hmm.
Right. So these
Hmm.
are the topics was quite that which I had feel and which every single person would feeling, and they are figuring out some things on the online. So I thought like rather than documenting the topics, it's better we will be making the videos on the go. Like whatever thought we are
Hmm.
thinking, like which will be connecting the points. Like if you see
Right.
about the videos, yesterday we posted why we should create content on LinkedIn, and today we have posted the content related how you can optimize the levels of the LinkedIn. So this is the thing, like we are
Hmm.
chaining out the links, right?
Right.
Even is at some day we are posting about a particular content, like suppose we have posted how you can take do invoicing, and the very next day
Hmm.
we have posted about the tools that you can use in invoicing and how you can follow up about the invoicing. So this is kind of
Hmm.
building a whole chain. So it
Right.
gives the consistency and chaining the portions also with the previous content.
Got it. Perfect. And I think it's also about taking this whole series very seriously,
Yes.
like its own, like it's a brand of its own. Because midway, I think we all start feeling that okay, यार बहुत हो गया, अब छोड़ देते हैं. But
Yeah, yeah, I also felt that like after
yeah,
I guess 20 videos, I felt like okay, now it's done. But
yeah,
as per I had committed to give about the 70 videos, and after looking
mm,
all the comments that we are getting on the videos, like me and the whole team was behind the whole series of that part. We thought like
right,
okay, now it's time to continue till the 70 days. We will look
mm,
post 70 days. If we are still getting that kind of response, then we will continue post 70 days also. We are not going to slow down the whole process. Like we have tons of content in lie down in the project so that we can create
mm,
content. And yesterday only we had rolled a poll, and around 92% of the people wanted to continue after 70 days also. So now we started
mm,
figuring out like how, okay, now it's time to move from the beginner basis. Like this whole series, these 70 days would be completely on the beginner level. Then we will be shifting on to the intermediate, and then we will be figuring out for the advanced level, like how it's time to scale.
mm, right, right,
So we are
absolutely.
channelizing the whole things now.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that will help a lot in. I think today in today's time we see a lot of. Uh, I mean, to be honest, a lot of content that doesn't add value.
Yeah,
right? And in that phase, also not distracting yourself and being true to your brand is what is very good thing, is a very good thing in the long run, in the short run as well. uh, so my next question to you is basically for all the beginners who will be watching this session or who are watching this session. Whenever I interact with them, and everyone wants to grow, everyone wants money or something at the end of it,
definitely.
but everyone has a lot of excuses as well, like, we don't have time or we don't have this thing. What should be my first post and how will I continue, and XYZ, all other factors. So what would be your, like, what's your answer to such people, or what would be your tangible tips that, okay, if you don't have time, do this. If you have this XYZ excuse, do this. What would be your tips for beginners?
Well, if I say about the excuse about the time, well,
Yeah.
time सबके पास है, ठीक है,
Right.
किसके पास नहीं है. If you are watching the series, if you are even in this live, you have the time, then only you are watching the series. If you don't have the
Correct.
time, you are not. The main thing
Right.
comes, you are not prioritizing your time with the things that you have to do.
Mm,
राइट. इफ यू
mm,
हैव टू डू लाइक, अगर आपको सही में कंटेंट पोस्ट करना है, देन आप किसी भी हाल में करोगे. लाइक टुडे वी आर पोस्टिंग कंटेंट ऑन 4 प्लेटफॉर्म्स simultaneously on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and
mm,
sometimes on our this blogs also. And it was
right.
not like कि मेरे पास शुरू से टीम थी, right?
Mm,
We have the team now, but initially also we are distributing our content on these several platforms. So if you are making excuses, then you are not prioritizing what you actually have to do about the time.
mm,
सेकेंड थिंग कि कंटेंट बनाए कि नहीं बनाए, वो वाला एक्सक्यूज की परफेक्शन आएगा कि नहीं. सो इन
mm,
दिस व्हाट आई वुड से इज लाइक स्टार्ट क्रिएटिंग, बिकॉज the perfection or the actual thing about the content would be coming when
mm,
you start creating, क्योंकि आपको फीडबैक्स मिलने चालू हो जाते हैं. आप जो इन प्रोसेस जर्नी में लर्न करते हो, लाइक when I started, I was not aware about the video editing skills that we are using right now. We have
right.
learned in the process, right? Then comes the scripting thing. Like earlier, we don't know how to script the proper videos. Like
Right.
currently, you can see the scripted videos are completely well, but earlier it was not.
Mm,
So we have learned in the process. So this is the only thing that you have to start learning into the process. So this is what I
right.
say. If you are making excuses regarding anything, there would be
Right.
solutions that you are not figuring out. Like there is a jugaad for every single thing.
Correct.
Right. This is what I say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I believe in the same. I mean, uh, my view on this is like content comes with observation. Like when you observe things and you share your perspectives, that's actually content. So anyone who's watching this live is who's thinking like, कि मैं क्या post करूँ, ये live को ही observe करके you can post a whole text post and
Definitely.
share your learnings or whatever you have learned, maybe a blog or some anything.
Mhm.
So I personally think that that's the best way. And as you said, like time hai, so why not utilize it in the best way possible, right?
Definitely.
So my next question is, along this personal branding journey on LinkedIn specifically, um, have you used any kind of tools, external tools, or have you figured out some timings or some tips that has really worked out for you?
Well, if I say about the tools, LinkedIn doesn't allow to use any kind of third-party tools for even for scheduling or any further
Hmm.
things. Like if you are doing
Hmm.
anything like bot or something like that, if you use
Yeah.
that part, LinkedIn have very serious things about that part. They will just ban you. Right?
Yes,
Even they restrict you for seven
that's
days.
scary.
And I
Yes.
had felt the same. Like my personal profile was got restricted for 24 hours because I was just looking out for the people's profile when I started
Hmm.
to make
Hmm.
to look how the people's profile look, like the influencers or the big creators profile look in my industry. So I was searching
Hmm.
about that, and at that point I was unaware about that fact that like okay, LinkedIn will block you. So I done the part. I had gone somewhere close to 20-25 profiles in a single day, and the very next day when I woke up and checked my LinkedIn profile, it was completely blocked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So if I say about the third party tools, don't use this. LinkedIn restrict that part. And if I say about the best timing, every content creator have their own best timing. Right, this is what I
Hmm.
say, because suppose if my audience is based on the students, now students don't have time in the morning schedule. They will be might busy in the schools, they will be might busy in colleges. So your
Right.
preferable timing is somewhere around in the evening. Suppose if
Hmm.
my uh, audience is corporates, so they have a time schedule in the breaks, like whether it's a lunch break or high tea breaks. So posting that kind of the time period. So time
Right.
period is kind of being justiciable if you figure out your audience, whichever your audience is. Then you will be able to know like okay at what time you have to post, and then you can post at that time. and just experiment with 2 3 time phases so that you can know, okay, this is the golden time, because
Right.
algorithms change every single week, every single month.
Got it. Got it. And I believe in the same, like, all these things are figured out along the way. But if you don't start, you won't figure out any of these.
Definitely.
You'll just keep researching about this.
Yeah, you have to
Uh,
take some actions about that part.
Absolutely. And I think it starts with like when I look back at my journey, I started by posting news articles, no way related to what I'm doing right now. So it's a journey of figuring out and realizing that where are you going wrong. And then, along the way, there will be people surrounding you and helping you in
Definitely.
that path. And with that note, I have a question on networking, which is a very important aspect of LinkedIn. So, how did you network with the right kind of people in your industry? And what would be your some tips for people on LinkedIn to network?
Okay, even if I say about the networking part,
Yeah.
so first thing is creating the valuable content that is valuable in your industry, because not
Mm.
every time you are the person who is reaching out. Sometimes the person from that industry is reaching to you, right? And
Mm.
for that, you have to create the relevant content for that one, right?
Right.
Second thing is like, you have to build that kind of the trust value or something like the criteria credibility in your industry, so that the
Mm.
person who are in the bigger industry, bigger in that industry, would be answering your DMs or getting reply, like for
Right.
getting those replies. Like suppose, even if I used to message some CMOs or CFOs earlier back
Yeah.
then. At that time, I
Mm.
don't have that credibility. So even after
Mm.
seeing the messages or giving a slight kind of hint, like okay, they would be saying like, even if I am dropping a good message, what they will say is like, okay, we will reward. But
Mm.
sometimes it happens that they will not reward, because the networking part comes when you have the credibility. People want to be
Mm.
network with the credible people in your industry, right?
Right.
So that comes with networking factor. And the second factor is like, create the relevant content and try to be in touch. Like ऐसा नहीं है कि आज आपने किसी को डीएम किया, you got the reply and परसों आप उसको भूल गए. Now you have to maintain that
Mm.
bond. So get in touch,
Mm.
be in touch. Like I comment on their post daily. If we find something relevant in their post, in their comments, go post on that and share your thoughts also, and drop down in your DMs also. Like if you found something relevant or irrelevant, write them. Drop down into the DMs, right? Uh,
Right.
Right. So this is the thing. Like the networking is a kind of the two-way process. You have to be connected with the person from the time to time basis. Like if you are not, if you are a kind of the in the busy niche, like suppose if you are in the corporate also, and if you are managing your other things also, so make a cycle kind of a thing. Like okay, at this time period, I will network with these people. Like suppose weekly, monthly, or something like that, so that you will also be in touch, and that networking part will be.
Right. That's a great perspective, I would say, because I see a lot of people making this mistake that when the LinkedIn profile is not optimized, a lot of profiles without the profile picture, exist and sending out connection requests. And I see also, some elements are there, some elements are missing. So that way, I mean, when we get a connection request, I'm sure we look at the person's profile also, that which is who is that person and is it really relevant. So I feel optimizing the LinkedIn profile is the first step towards even thinking about networking. And then with your content, as you said, people will inbound message you that, okay, I saw this content and I saw this post and all of that. So that's pretty good. Now talking about the professional side of things, like for your business, how has your personal branding impacted your business? And how do you manage all these things? I mean, you would must have had clients and you must have a team. So how do you manage all this and create a balance between your work and your, maybe your personal life and all of that?
Okay, even if I say about creating a balance between all these things, it's like prioritizing the things. Like I would make a content calendar or the work schedule calendar. Basically, if I say in the month of in the start of the month, I create
Hmm.
all these things, because we know what things we actually have to do this month, and on the
Right.
basis of that monthly calendar, we decide the daily basis of the tasks. Like we decide the
Hmm.
weekly assignments, we decide the daily assignment, like actually how much time I have to give to the content calendar, to the clients, and how much time I have to give to the actual, what we say, the prospecting things. So we decide all these things, and then we work on the basis of that. And if I
Hmm.
say about the personal branding part, like personal branding helps a lot in the whole business perspective, because The personal branding brought us the credibility in the niche, right?
Hmm.
It builds the credibility, and once it builds the credibility, then you are able to do better things in that part, in any of the niche.
Hmm.
This is the
Hmm.
reason why personal branding is must in any of the industry, whether it's done online or offline. So it's very
Right.
important to go for that part.
Absolutely. So I think the whole part of planning the
Mhm.
stars and content even really, really, helps in making sure that you don't burn out. I feel at the end
Yeah,
of it,
yeah,
because personal branding, I personally feel is a very hectic, like it's a proper job that you're doing towards your own self.
definitely. Like if you are not managing all the things properly or organizing things organically, that definitely it would be a kind of burnout thing. If you have done all the things at the prior note, like okay, what you have to do next, then it's a kind of an easy go to flow, like whatever thing
Right.
you are doing daily. So this is the thing.
Right. Absolutely. So now I have a fun rapid fire round for you, wherein I'll be asking a few technical questions, a few questions based on your vision. You can answer like on the quick go and also explain why did that come in your mind personally. So my first question is, do you think LinkedIn hashtags are relevant? And if yes, why?
Well, definitely yes.
Okay.
Because the thing is like hashtags would categorize the things that you are working on. Like suppose if you
Hmm.
post something random, and if you add
Right.
hashtag, it will give that credibility, give the categorization of that hashtag. Suppose if I am
Hmm.
posting about web development, so web development is kind of a very bigger niche. Anyone
Hmm.
can in the web development can know. If I add
Right.
the hashtag web development on JavaScript, then it
Hmm.
gives directly to the JavaScript. Then
Right.
now not in the bigger niche, it's into the micro niche. Right,
Right.
people who are looking out for the JavaScript, they will be going in that part. If
Hmm.
I say if we don't use the hashtag, if we only put the web development, then people who are looking for web development can also see and JavaScript can also see. So this is the
Right.
reason adding a hashtag is important.
Amazing, amazing. My second question is, if you would not have been into marketing or content creation, what do you think you would have been doing right now?
Okay, if I'm not being into that part, then definitely into a professional racing career.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's great. That's great.
because
My
I'm into the
third,
professional thing.
yeah, yeah, that's amazing. My third question is, what is the worst thing about LinkedIn, according to you? The worst feature or the worst thing that you have ever experienced?
Mhm. Till now, I feel sometimes uh, it I feel not probably the worst. It
Yeah.
needs some kind of the improvements, like the DM section.
Hmm.
Right, I
Correct.
feel that DM section needs some kind of the improvements. Not probably the worst, but it needs some improvement in terms of like we are not able to highlight the important messages at that time. Right.
Hmm. Correct.
So this is
Correct.
the thing that I feel like something kind of the work to be done in that part.
Right. Got it. Your
Mhm.
favorite content creator on LinkedIn?
Favorite content creator on LinkedIn? Probably, I would say I hadn't gone through the bigger content creators yet because if I say about the Gary, we would the one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah,
Because he
amazing.
would be the one who had asked all of us to come on the LinkedIn in the early 2020 and 2021.
Right. Amazing, amazing. My last question is, let's say if LinkedIn, if you have to choose another platform except LinkedIn, so what would it be for you in
It would
today's time?
definitely be YouTube.
YouTube,
Yeah,
correct.
it would
Because I
definitely
think
be
that
YouTube.
has the most credibility now.
Definitely, it
Alongside.
has the credibility, and not every person, or if I say not every creator, is able to leverage that platform YouTube. Right, you
Mm-hmm.
can leverage it in the short term, but not in the long term.
Correct.
Same
That's a
goes
whole
with the
another
LinkedIn
game.
also.
Right.
Right, this is the thing.
Amazing. That's great. That's great. So that ends the session and had a very, very fun time, very candid conversation. So thank you so much, Sahil, for taking out time for this. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Rahul, for inviting.
And to the audience as well, thank you so much for watching. And I hope this adds value if you watch it in the future as well. And one conclusion I would say, the biggest conclusion, just post if you haven't been posting the observation of this live session. If you don't have an idea, tag both of us and we will, comment down
Definitely,
to increase your reach and give you that motivation on the first
definitely,
post.
definitely.
Perfect. Chalo. Thank you so much, guys. See you next time. Perfect.
Thank you,